big break arrived in 1998, at the age of 13 when she won a talent contest organised by Ottawa radio station Country 96 FM. The prize was the opportunity to sing with her biggest musical idol, Shania Twain. Sue Gordon from the station was credited with discovering Avril.
We had hundreds and hundreds of CDs and tapes and videos. And I guess what the mandate was of the promotion is that we weren't looking for anybody professional. So we did have some very good singers, very mature singers and polished. But we weren't looking for those kinds of people. We were looking to give a young, actually Shania Twain was looking to give a young amateur want-to-be perhaps the chance of a lifetime. When Avril came in, she just had that sound. It was a fabulous sound. It was raw, and it was terrific. It was just what we were looking for because, as I say, she was on pitch and she sang very confidently. The quality of the tape wasn't terrific, of course, and that's what made it even more refreshing. And so yes, it did stand out, and yet she was in among some very talented other people as well. She just had what it took, I think.
Is there anyone out there?
After the selection process, and we had decided that Avril was the gal, I was co-hosting the morning show on Country 96, so my co-host and I decided to call the family up live on the air that morning and make the announcement that it was Avril Lavigne indeed that had won. And of course you heard the screeching in the background, and I don't know if it was her actually or her parents who are very supportive of her career. So we called her up live on the air and put her on, and she was thrilled to death, and it was a complete surprise. She had no idea, and in fact, just in her presentation of her tape, it wasn't anything, there wasn't any fanfare. She's always been fairly understated, but very confident.
Well, I remember Sue Gordon from Kingston radio station holding the contest, and we were holding our breath. Then when she won the contest, of course, we were very pleased, and I think we were really excited when she got to perform with Shania in Ottawa. That was her first big, really big thing for Avril.
Walking on, feeling like words of a song.
Local journalist Amy Pianozzi was contacted by Avril's proud parents to ask if she would like to write a story on her winning the competition to sing with Shania Twain.
When I first heard of Avril Lavigne, I was working for the Napanee Guide, which is where I work now, and her folks phoned me up and said, look, our daughter won this contest and she's going to sing with Shania Twain. Do you want to come and do a story? And I said, sure. I got a chance to interview her then at home about how she practiced at home, and she talked about how she would stand in her bedroom and sing, and she had entered this tape in this contest, and she was really excited, and I asked her if she was nervous, and she said no, she just likes to sing, so she had a lot of self-confidence.
The confident, self-assured performance gave Avril her first tangible taste of stardom.
Well, my first meeting with Avril was to take her and her mom to the Corral Centre and to put her on stage. So of course, under those conditions, you would think that, you know, you're really meeting somebody who's probably nervous, very anxious, full of anxiety, perhaps, you know, my knees were knocking for her. I couldn't imagine what she was going through, and yet that was not the girl I met. I met a very confident, well-composed, a very mature girl who just believed in what she could do, obviously. And so she was very much looking forward to meeting Shania beforehand, but didn't really get that opportunity. So the first time she actually made any connection was in front of 30,000 people, because of course Shania was well briefed and pulled her up on stage at the appropriate time. Up she went and kicked right into gear and got a standing ovation.
And Shania had this little interview with her on stage. And what do you want to do when you grow up? I I want to be a singer, says Avril. Oh yes, that's very nice, says Shania. And of course, Avril's gone on to great heights.
Being out on stage and having a whole bunch of people screaming for you and getting a high off being on stage is exactly what I thought it would be, but of course I didn't know what the whole traveling side of it would feel like and the whole promotional side, which is the work part, but overall I'm happy with it and it's cool.
It set chills down my back because she earned it. She earned every bit of it. She did a fabulous job, and Shania Twain actually gave her certainly a huge round of applause and recognized that she did it. She did a great job. Afterward, we had the opportunity to go backstage and meet with Shania Twain, and that's when Avril got her chance to have a little chat, and Shania again commented on what a great job she did, and I think put her on a high probably for a year to come. It was an amazing thing. Just right then and there, her career took off, and she actually chased after a dream.
Everyone around Avril at this time could see her incredible talent, but no one would have dared dream that the teenager from Napanee was about to become one of the great musical sensations of the new decade.
It's just a name on a wall.
News of the young Avril's talent spread like wildfire within Napanee's music community, and local country and western musician David Archibald was one of the first people to recognise her remarkable voice.
You could see that she was totally immersed and involved in music. That's what she lived for. And she just loved getting the backing karaoke type tracks from her dad, who would shop all over trying to get the latest Dixie Chicks tune or that sort of thing, so that she could sing along with it. But then he was thinking he should put a band together for her, and so 3 other musicians and I formed, I guess, one of her first bands anyway, and we went out and did a few gigs with her, backing her up, fall fairs, that sort of thing. Sometimes for promotional purposes, it would just be the 2 of us, acoustic guitar and Avril. And I think she shines as much in that situation as with a full band, because her voice is the star, and our job as band members is just to make that star shine, and it's not difficult.
As an 11-year-old, Renee Archibald had the chance to sing with 15-year-old Avril, something she'll remember for the rest of her life.
We sang together at the Norwood Fair, and I don't know, it was really interesting because she had never, she wasn't famous yet. She was just herself, and she had an amazing voice, and I felt honored that I got to sing with her because, she was 15. I was only 11, so 15 seemed really, really old. So I felt very special, I guess. And so we sang a song called Kiss Me together by Sixpence None the Richer. And it's not really a country tune, but it was sort of in that genre.
And she really started listening to country music. I think that some of the female country artists were a great influence, certainly in her singing, and now in her songwriting. Of course, she's definitely had some other influences, but country music, I think, started her down that road, and she sang the country songs very, very well.
Avril's kind heart even showed through in competitions, where she would help and encourage newcomers to the local music stage.
The first time I ever competed against Avril was in August of '98, and we were at the Napanee Fair they have an annual talent competition, and I believe we were in the 10 to 18 age group. And she was just amazing. Like, I'd gone to the practices with her, and she was just kind of giving me tips because she'd done it before and it was my first time, so I was new to it. And she was giving me tips of, you know, just be careful with this. And she's like, you've got a great voice. And she was just showing me things to do on stage. And then I remember after I performed, she just came up and gave me a big hug. And she ended up getting 3rd or 4th, I can't remember which, but she was just amazing, and she should have got 1st. But I guess the judges disagreed, but she was just so good about, like, she wasn't a poor loser, and she wasn't like how I won. Like, she was very down to earth and just accepting of everybody, so it was kind of nice. It was a good experience.
Avril's love of performing and singing in front of crowds stemmed back to her school days when her dream of making it as a singer began.
I just remember Avril Lavigne as being the school star. She was always performing at assemblies. We usually had about 3 or 4 a year. She was always involved and always sang